Мајкл, колку е претпоставката дека е тоа старо и од кого е градено?
Right. The age here is very important, and it's a lot older than anyone could have imagined. There is no real way for us to date this other than looking at every possible scientific clue that we get. And you've got to do what the guys in CSI, the TV show, do, right? You've got to follow the clues. And based on the clues, then you make a conclusion based on the evidence. And some of the clues are in the tools and the artifacts. And the tools and the artifacts that I've been collecting in the stone circles and on the mountains, especially in the town that I live, which was surrounded by thousands and thousands of these stone circles, the tools and artifacts are covered by this thing called a patina that grows on these specific rocks. And sometimes the rock is a specific kind of rock, is known as hornfels, and it's black in color. So if you make a tool or an artifact out of this rock, it should be black, the color of the rock. And yet these tools and artifacts are not black. They've got this patina that has grown back over the tool. Now, for that patina to grow back over the tools and artifacts will not just take a few thousand years, will take hundreds of thousands of years to get to the thickness that it is. Because we don't have very specific scientific indicators as to how long it'll take for this patina to grow. But what we do know is that this patina grows very, very slowly. You know, thousands of years for each microscopic layer to form. So by the time you have this patina that's, 2 or 3 millimeters thick, and in some instances 5 millimeters thick and thicker, we're dealing with tools and artifacts that are hundreds of thousands of years old.
Тоа покажува дека цивилизацијата на планетава е многукратно постара од она што официјалната наука прогласува дека е. Постанок на човек, се симнал мајмунот од дрво, па почнал не знам што да лови мравки, ти реков ми рече, дека е сето тоа многу постаро.
Yeah, of course, it's much older. Everything is much older. And it's even older than what I'm describing here now. We're just scratching the surface of this knowledge pool. And we've just got to be prepared to face new evidence.
Бидејќи ти си во контакт со сите овие што откриваат историја многу подлабоко од ова што е. Можеш ли, еве како пример, да ни посочиш и во некоја друга земја или некаде, или во Африка, било каде, низ светот, каде што има исто така некое истражување, односно некое согледување која ни покажува страотна длабочина од милиони години од почетокот од создавањето на човештвото?
Well, I think there are many people around the world doing this research information. Brian Foerster in the Andes with the elongated skulls, and that the whole Andean civilization that built monuments and built structures and fortresses that we cannot build today. The pyramids in Egypt are a lot older than the official story is. Many thousands of years older than we're being told.
Значи нема врска, пирамидите немаат врска со овие, со Рамзес, со едно, со друго, со ова.
Of course not.
Релативно нова историја, не 2-3 години.
Yes, of course. Remember that the rule number one of archaeology is that civilizations build on top of each other, and civilizations use the structures that they find from older civilizations. So they'll use it, and you see it in the stone circles in South Africa. Yes, many of the stone circles have been modified and changed to be dwellings for people. They made doors and entrances, and so they used them for enclosures for themselves. But that wasn't the original structure. The original structure was something very different. The original structure were energy devices that are still active today. We know because we measured it. We got scientific evidence, and it's not a theory, this is scientific fact. These are energy-generating devices that go back hundreds of thousands of years. And they were possibly used for creating an atmosphere, for modifying, for creating some sort of a protection grid around the planet. I mean, let your mind run wild. We've seen many sci-fi movies about these things. And everything that you've seen in movies is probably accurate and true, like we've seen in Star Trek. Over the last 50 years of Star Trek, pretty much everything that we've seen in Star Trek has become a reality or is still becoming a reality.
Ми зема дел Миленко од прашањето, инаку тоа сакав да ве прашам и ме интересира зошто науката едноставно веќе со последните 50-100 години има мал милион откритија, мал милион нови артефакти кои што покажуваат поинаков правец на историјата. Зошто научниците и науката бегат тоа да го стават во учебниците кои што се учат денес? Значи едноставно во последните 30-40 години се учи иста историја. Иста.
Yeah. Well, the answer, and this is why the Ubuntu movement and the Ubuntu party is so critical. Who funds the research to go into the textbooks? The bankers. The bankers fund the research laboratories. The bankers fund the research expeditions. The bankers fund everything that guides the way we think. And if you are a lecturer or a university professor and you start teaching something that is not in the textbooks, you get fired. Right? You have to teach what's in the textbooks because that's how it works. So the higher up you go in the current education system, the more indoctrinated you become. Because you have to promote the propaganda of those that write the textbooks and those that write and shape the history based on what they want it to be. And it always comes back to those who create the money, back to the bankers. This is fantastic, and this is why how you can see how everything is connected. Bruce Lipton, who you may know, is a great example of a researcher and a scientist who left his university career as a professor in molecular biology because he did not want to stick to the textbooks. He wanted to teach his students the latest research and share the latest information, and he did not want to abide and toe the line.
Also, that example of that scientist in NASA, which left NASA because he disagreed about the measures of the pyramids and the construction and the purpose of building pyramids, because it's stupid to build a pyramid just to be a grave for one person or for.
Absolutely. It's very obvious that the pyramids, just like the stone circles, all these ancient structures, first of all, and this is what I teach in my lectures and my presentations, what I show is that we're dealing with ancient technology. All these ancient structures are actually machines, and most of these are machines for the generation and the creation of energy. The pyramids and the Great Pyramid is a great example of a huge resonator. It's a giant machine that creates huge amounts of energy from resonance. Everything in creation comes back to sound, resonance, and frequency from all ancient cultures and civilizations.